Okay, it's been 2 days, and I actually just logged in to try and transport this veritable dragon's hoard of useful modules back to Manar without dying in a gate camp. We got the large shield extender we originally came out here for, but we also got a ton of other great modules, like a bunch of medium railguns, as well as this enduring multi-spectrum, which will be fantastic for Thomas, and a whole wealth of salvage that's very hard to get out in Serpentis Gallente space. So I was thinking of loading all of this into Carmela and just trying to sneak back to Everyshore. But we're all alone in Tartoken right now. In fact, if you see in the chat, a viewer, a fan of the channel, actually passed on through and was like, "What are you doing here?" But he's gone now. It's just us, and I cannot resist the call of the belts. So we're going to do one more pass through the belts of Tartoken in Carmela, see if we can't get a couple more useful modules, and then we will fly back to Manar. This is Bill. Bill wants to build a Cynabal and join the Angel Cartel cause in Zarzak, but he's not making it easy on himself. Okay, we cleared the belts of Anokin, Takonin, Tarkokin, whatever it's called. We cleared the belts next door, and we cleared the belts here in Seranin, and we got another enduring multi-spectrum, which is fantastic, and also another large restrained shield extender. Another Mark 1 compact, like lots of really good modules. So we are going to pretty soon head back to Manar, and we can even leave a spare shield extender here in case the worst happens, then we can just pop back in Angela and pick it up. But before we go, I noticed that there's a Forsaken Hideaway in the system, and I really want to give that a shot, see what that's about, as well as another drone assembly. So we're going to clear them out real quick, and then, for real, no joke, back to Manar. It's so exciting being in new space, I just don't want to leave. Drone assembly first. Drone assembly is a walk in the park for us at this point. We're just hoping for a faction spawn or an escalation, but no. Garista's Forsaken Hideaway, formed by two former members of the Caldari Navy who go by the names of Fatal and the Rabbit. The Garistas are a constant thorn in the side of the Caldari state. Traditional pirates, in the sense that their operation is not based around some creed or ideology, the Garistas are motivated by plain and simple greed. They have bases close to Caldari space, and from them they embark on daring raids, often into the state itself. Though the Garistas are considered more honorable than many of their piratical counterparts, they are still extremely dangerous not to be trifled with. Well, we're not Garistas, we're angels. Let's see what this is all about. Oh, here come the elite frigates. Yep, here comes the damage. We're not scrammed yet. Whoa, that's a lot of damage though. Okay, we need to get out of here. We can't handle this heat. Okay. Okay. One warp out, we can do it. We can do this. Right back in. Garista's Forsaken Hideaway. I think the Spirit skin might be my favorite skin for Carmela. I love that it has the Angel logo on it right now. I love the red headlights. Just throwing it out there. It is fantastic. Alright. There we go. Just one more elite guy to go. Oh. He's running away from me too fast. Okay. Gotta get out of here. Try again. Using PvP tactics. Preheating the AB and the web. That last elite frigate is fast, and he kites. We're gonna land. We're gonna immediately grab him. Gotcha. Still taking a crap ton of damage though. More damage than I'm used to taking from a destroyer. Oh! That wave was not easy. I don't think I managed to repair before I trigger the next wave. Whoa! Just gotten a little patch up at the Quaife Company warehouse. And then we're going to go finish off that Forsaken Hideaway, which has been a lot tougher than I expected. Those waves of destroyers kiting with railguns have done a lot of damage, not to mention those 3 elite frigates we fought, which were out kiting us. We had to heat our web and heat our AB to catch them. This has been quite a sight. Hopefully it has something for us. Hopefully we get a treat at the end. A prize. You know what I'm talking about, game. Give it to me. Holy moly. No, we need to get out of here. We can't take this at all. That's too much. We won't be able to finish this. I don't think. Well, no, we can. It's the same wave we fought before. One at a time, like last time. Get on-grid tactical. Okay, I should explain what I'm doing here. It's the same basic principle as when I create safe spots by dropping bookmarks mid-warp, but rather than trying to create a spot in the middle of nowhere, what I'm trying to do here is drop my bookmarks in very specific locations as I exit warp or as I enter warp in order to create tactical positions in and around this specific grid of space. I've created a bookmark just off grid and a bookmark just on grid, allowing me to use hidden run tactics, warping in, killing one enemy, and then warping back out to a very short distance. The on-grid bookmark in particular lets me, when I warp out, be outside of targeting range, but still able to see where everything is on grid, and rather than warping back to the site itself, I can warp to any particular position. I can warp to a wreck, I can warp to a piece of scenery, and therefore choose exactly where I land for my next assassination. This is a tactic you traditionally see in fleet PvP situations, particularly things like interceptors or interdictors will use these tactical bookmarks to land at just the right position with an enemy fleet to drop a bubble or to get tackle on a specific ship. It's not something that you usually see in a PvE setting like this, but with the amount of heat that we're taking from this site, these are the tactics that are going to let us finish it in Carmella. We're really overthinking this site, but I want to destroy it with Carmella. We don't have a reship here. There you go. That's here down. Now we're right in the midst of them. Should be able to get our orbits in and take the DPS down very fast. Closest guy. We get the webs on first. Then we're going to bounce back to our safe. We'll wrap up. We'll get a new warp in on these guys. Okay. Where are you at? Then we'll just warp to whatever he's closest to. Okay. Fly over to something so I can land on you, please. Oh, he's quite close to this thing now. I don't really want to warp to that at 0, lest I land on it. He's bumping into it now. Okay, I'll warp to this within 10. There we go. All I had to do was create a collection of tactical bookmarks and warp around like I was a fleet interdictor. But it worked. We got them all. Kicked them off one at a time. No, Dragoristas! It worked! It was worth it! It was all worth it! A faction Heron. A faction Heron, and he's dead. Alright, Dreadgrista's Heron, what do you have for us? Oh. Oh. Dreadgrista's Invader Wreck? That was hard fought. I hope this was worth it. Viewer? It was not worth it. Mella's hold loaded up with a whole bunch of goodies, and there's a couple more guns I want to pick up on the way through Prism that I left there. But before we leave this pocket of space, there are 1 or 2 blueprints that I would like to buy that we can't get back at home. Medium Core Defense Field Extender 1 blueprint, 750,000 ISK. Medium Thermal Shield Reinforcer 1 blueprint, 750,000 ISK. Alright, it is time to finally undertake the long flight back to Manar. We've opted for a slightly longer route than the one we took out here in order to go around that Triglavian system that we passed through on the way out to Prism. We just don't want to lose Carmela or all of the fantastic loot we've gathered to an NPC gate camp. We also have fit a warp core stabilizer, which we looted from some rats. You shouldn't depend on warp core stabilizers to save your life. They're not actually that much defense against a gate camp, but there are some situations with a single person on gate, particularly when we're enlisted with a militia, where a warp core stabilizer might allow us to sort of sneak through. So we're going to fit it. We're hoping not to have to use it. And here we go. And here we are, after a long trip in Caldari space, returning to the Weirkomi factory in Manar. Safe and sound. With a whole belly full of loot. Look at all this. It's time to get some rigs building. Straight away. In 1 hour and 23 minutes. It'll be time to refit Thomas. An exciting day. Rigs are finished building. Now I just have to go pick up Thomas from Ragoscon. Just 3 jumps away. So this is Thomas as he has been flown. The old Thomas, the one we ran all those anomalies with. He's got 218 DPS with thorium, 11,000 effective hit points, and 17 EHP passive regeneration on his shields, with another 24 EHP that we can get from the shield booster. No rigs, almost all Tech 1 modules. This is what we've been working with. And this is the new Thomas. Look at this. DPS has gone up slightly from 218 to 232, but look at the tank. We've increased our raw hit points by almost 50%, and our regeneration, our passive regen just from the shields with no booster at all is now 35 EHP per second, which is almost what we were getting before with the booster active. And if we run the booster, that's another 30 on top of that. Not to mention that because we've been able to put on a restrained microwarp drive instead of the compact, and we've added a second power diagnostic system, our tank now lasts with the booster running 30-35% longer. And also, we're running 3 200mm compressed coil guns, but we're also running 2 250mm scout cannons because we have the power grid room for it now. It's mismatched guns, but not very mismatched. We're usually fighting in fall off of the 200mm guns, and the 250mm guns have that little bit more DPS and a little bit more range. So if we're fighting at like 25 kilometers, then the 250s are going to do their full damage. I'm excited about this fit, guys. This is a really big step up. And look how snug the CPU and power grid is. Everything just fits on there. We're really making the most of those meta modules we got, and we've got a full rack of rigs. We've got a thermal shield reinforcer in one of the rig slots, which leaves us with that EM hole, but we're fighting Serpentis, which means that we're not really usually taking EM, and we've got a multi-spec on here, so we do have some EM resist. If we're fighting something that's doing EM damage, we'll just throw on an EM hardener instead of the multi-spec and let the thermal pick up the slack in the thermal department. I think Thomas with this fit is going to feel like an entirely different ship. And I saw, as I was bringing Thomas back from Ragascon, there's a drone menagerie in system right now. So let's take Thomas out and see how he does in an anomaly that just last episode was giving us a lot of trouble. Shields are barely even scratched. I'd have to go back and look at the at episode 17, but I am pretty sure that we were struggling a little bit at this point in the old fit. Regardless, this feels clean and easy. Got the elite cruisers out now, which I remember we had a lot of trouble with before. And at the small drones, elite frigates as well. Field still holding tight without even using the booster. Switching to antimatter. Yeah, these elite cruisers have tough shields, but they're going down much faster this time. Because we're using antimatter, we have more DPS to begin with, but we're also using antimatter because we can survive in this close to them. Last time we couldn't sit in at 10 kilometers from a strained disintegrator album. Now we got tank for days. And that's it. Drone Menagerie cleared in 10 minutes without even getting close to 50% shield, I don't think, let alone 30%. Easy peasy. Alright, Thomas. Thomas the Gank Engine. Or should I say, Thomas the Tank Engine. I think we've got this on lock. Now, weren't we trying to build a Cynabal?